What is up? What is up? It's Sunday morning. Sunday morning here. We've got games coming up soon. We're waiting for the inactives list to come out. See what these last minute injuries are coming with. Diaz trading the sub league. I saw. You know what's crazy is I woke up this morning thinking about trading for DK. And going through my leagues, and then boom, I see the trade, and I'm like, damn, because I really thought about it this morning. So, Kev in the building. What up, Kev? What it do, my man? I'm solo dolo today. Hammer is apparently moving to a new place, and he's doing the flooring or something like that today, he said. So, left me hanging. So it's me and y'all chilling before the game. I didn't even get a chance to roll up, so now I got to roll up while I'm talking here. But what's up, Kev? What you got going on in your leagues this week? The playoff push is here. I mean, it's getting tight coming down to the wire here in some leagues. So this is an important week, and there's just a ton of buys too. Like, so one thing I really don't like now about like this extra game and stuff, and with the buys, everything is pushed back, and like these are really important games, and like you're missing key players. So it sucks. Figure we'll go over some underdog. We'll see what's going on with the prop bets. We'll check out all this. I'm not gonna know much on the game bets. That's Hammer's thing. So if anybody got questions on that, sorry. But I gotta check the rest of my lineups too. We've got to get lineup. We got to lock in lineups. Let's see what's going on with these inactives. Fryermuth apparently looks like he's playing. He's activated. Here we go. All right, so they just came out. Michael Wilson not playing, inactive. That was a big one for me because I had to play him in one league where I was a little bit desperate, and Michael Wilson being out, that kind of sucks. But maybe Rondell Moore gets a little more work. Marquise Brown, Hollywood. Got a good contending team. Lost Burrow and Higgins. Man, I'm in a same boat with one of my, dynasties, one of my 1 QBs. I have Burrow and Higgins, and it just sucks. My other QB is Allen, so I'm pushing to get Dobbs today. There you go. Yeah, if you can get Dobbs, I mean, what team is Dobbs on? Is he on a non-contending team? Is it gonna be a little bit easier to pry him away, or is this one of those situations where, like, you're gonna have to pay up and pay the tax to go get Dobbs? Richard, what's up, Richard Stanley? Connor or Jerome Ford? Ooh, okay. Let's check out the what they're playing real quick. Alright, so against the Steelers, we've got Jerome Ford, and then we've got Connor against the Texans. This is tough because Jerome Ford's getting a ton of work. I know the Steelers' defense is pretty good. But I mean, no, a little bit more. Does that mean they use Ford a little bit more? I mean, Connor's going to get some work. He's going to get work too. I mean, going against the Texans, you got Kyler back. Might have to go. Might go Connor here. Might go Connor here. Let's go Connor, Richard. Frenzy, what up, Frenzy? 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, and a flex. We've got Javante, Ford, Singletary, Henry, Dell, DJ Moore, and Metcalf. Okay. So let's go with the 2 wide receivers first. I think we're definitely going to play Dell, and the Bears have the Lions. I think I want to play DJ Moore. So give me Dell and DJ Moore. Give me at running back, let's go. Running back, let's go Henry. Running back, let's go Henry and Javante. Mm. Let's go Henry and Javante, and then in the flex, let's go DK. I think I'll roll with that, Frenzy. Dell, DJ Moore, DK with Henry and Javante. Kev said Dobbs is on a non-contender. Okay, that's good. Trying to make moves, but also not trying to blow up my spot. Yeah, I feel you. I mean, listen, you might have to pay, like, if can you get him for a second? I mean, you might have to pay that. Throw a second at him and see what he's looking at. No problem, friends. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. Okay, Cad, DK, Waddle, Saquon, Javante. We've got to sit one of these guys. Wow. Okay. If we got to sit one, I mean, you could make the argument for Saquon because that team is just so horrible, but he just gets a ton of volume. And then you've got Javante against the Vikings. Waddle, you have to play. That's a must. I think DK, I want to play as well. Give me Waddle, DK, and Saquon. Ah, no, man. Does it have to be Saquon? Yeah, give me DK Waddle and Saquon. I mean, he just gets too much. He's gonna get too much burn. Sutton anytime, Tutty. There you go. Open to my inactive list here. Here we go. Yeah, I'm gonna take a look at some of the underdog picks. Try and make a few. But Demercado out, so you got Keontae Ingram, James Conner, and newly acclaimed Michael Carter over there. Tommy Tremble, Hayden Hurst is out, so good sign for Tremble for this game. Justin Fields obviously is back. Foreman is active. He will play, but you do have Khalil Herbert that just came back as well. So kind of a 3-headed backfield over there. Deshaun Watson, obviously, we know is out. Marquise Goodwin is out. Daddle is active. Malik Davis could be in the mix. Damian Pierce, obviously, we know about that. We know about Noah Brown. Zay Jones, Keenan Allen is playing. Jalen Guyton inactive. Is it time for Quentin Johnson? Is it Quentin Johnson's time right now? He's gonna have an opportunity here. Cad, no problem, man. Appreciate you. Everett is out, so you got Parham out there. We know Achan is coming back this week. We all their guys are healthy though, so we'll see how we'll see what happens there. Only needs a few touches. I mean, we've seen what he can do on limited touches. So Claypool is out. We know that doesn't matter. We've got Firemouth who should be playing. Let's double check on that. Yeah, Steelers get back Firemouth. I mean, what does that do? What does that do for the offense? He's on track, but and then Antonio Gibson killing me. He was just starting to get a little bit more work as well. But we did talk about Brian Robinson and we talked about Chris Rodriguez a tiny bit last night. So, with Gibby out, Rodriguez is not a guy that just takes on the Gibby role. He's more of like a first and second down guy. So B-Rob could see a little bit of an uptick in the passing game this week. Garrett Wilson is playing. And then there's Lockett, which looks like he's still going to play. So Edison looks like he's going to be good to go. Hold on, they just updated. No, that's a new yet. All right, let's check out some of the underdog picks here. See what we got to do. I don't think we're staying away from all Steelers, and I think we're probably staying away from all of the Browns as well. I mean, Amari 43.5 receiving yards. Not bad. I'm gonna try and attempt to roll up while I'm doing this because this is the Wake and Bake. Feel free to throw all your questions in the chat. We'll get through all the questions here and start looking through more of this underdog and see if there's anything really that we like here. Kareem Hunt, 1.5 catches. Herbert, losing weapons, losing weapons. I think that Eckler has a big game today. All there is fantasy points on here for Eckler, but you might even be safe taking that. I mean, Keenan Allen is about to have a monster game. And listen, Quentin Johnson, if you're playing like those dailies, like I mean, 3 catches. I think they just need to use Quentin Johnson the right way, I think is my main issue. It just seems like they want him to be Mike Williams, but he's not. Like he's not that. He's better like almost Keenan Allen wise, like get the ball in his hands. He's good yak wise, and he's good on like short little, slants. And instead they want him to be, a deep ball guy, but we knew already coming out of college that he wasn't a guy that was good in contested catch rate. He wasn't a guy that went up and go and went up and to go get it. He was a guy that kind of caught it to his body a little bit more. So we knew these things already. I don't know why they think they want him to be that kind of guy, but you guys let me know. Do you guys see the same thing? or are we just calling Quentin Johnson trash and a bust? I don't think that's the case. We knew that he was a project coming out. I just don't think they have the right role for him right now. But Keenan Allen, 10 targets? I mean, could probably count on that. Jordan Love. Here we go. Aaron Jones, 51.5 rushing. I think I like the fantasy points. 11.9 fantasy points. I think that'd be a good one. Even AJ Dillon, I mean, 28.5 rushing yards. What did Dillon do? He had 70 last week. I mean, 9, 10 carries. I mean, I kind of like that. Christian Watson's just been a major disappointment so far. But 37.5 receiving yards. Same thing, Dubes. I mean, Reed. We don't know who's gonna get the ball, but it all is pretty low receiving yards that they're being asked to get. He got Josh Jacobs, 16.5 rushing attempts, 65 rushing yards. They are gonna get up against Miami, so we gotta hope they don't get down by much. Devontae, 65.5, 12 fantasy points. Yeah, we're about an hour away. A little more than an hour. We gotta finish setting lineups. Guys, throw the questions out in the chat. Any lineup questions you got? I'm gonna have to double check through mine also. And I go through them Saturday night, but then, like, sometimes things change Sunday morning. And we'll talk about just some of the games in general here. Or we might as well do it as we go through these. Mhm. All right, Tua, Mostert, Achan, 10 fantasy points. Waddle's been pretty good this year. There's not a yardage total, and there's not a catch total, which I find pretty funny. We've got a reception, we've got a target, first down, and just pure fantasy points. Tyler, rushing, 33.5 rushing. See what James Conner's got here, 62.5 rushing. In fantasy points. Marquise Brown, 58 receiving yards. Do we think he gets back on track today? I'd be okay going with that. Feel pretty comfortable with Marquise Brown. Trey McBride, I mean, he's been a monster. 6 catches, 55 receiving yards. I mean, I like the fantasy points on that. Michael Wilson's not even playing, so I'm not sure why he's got some stuff up here, but Singletary, Nico, and fantasy points. I like that. You got Tank Dell down here also. I probably like Nico's better. Take the points on Nico. Derrick Henry, rushing tutty. Raphael, what's up, Raphael? Jerome Ford or Rashard White? It's a tough one. Rashard White's been so good. He's been so good lately. Doesn't have the greatest matchup against the 49ers, but I think you have to go with him. I mean, Jerome Ford doesn't have a greatest matchup either. I mean, against the Steelers, no Deshaun Watson, so that offense might be a little bit murky. Give me Rashard White. Hopefully the 49ers don't just blow him out and the Bucks score nothing, but you've got at least Rashard White will be involved in the pass game. Like doesn't matter what the game flow is, like Rashard White's going to be involved. So give me Rashard White, Raphael. Song, what up, Song? I'm rolling through them now. Rolling through them now, Song. If there's anything that you got that you are thinking about, let me know. But I'm rolling through some of these now. Song, are you in the 22 League 22 with me? You are. Song, let me know what you think about my trade that I made with what was it? Rob Coriston. I traded for Chase in the 22. Tell me what you think about the trade, Song. I was sifting through making offers to everybody. And Song, you're a tough cookie, man. I like the way that you roll because you know what you're doing. But yeah, I was able to get Chase off of this guy. He seems like he doesn't know what position he's in, if he wants to go for the win this year or not. And so I gave him some win now pieces and wound up grabbing Chase in that league. So now I got Chase and CD. All right, let's roll. Let's roll through this. 56.5 rushing yards. Jacksonville D hasn't been that bad, but it's actually been pretty good fantasy wise. And the Jacksonville offense is just it's very annoying with Calvin Ridley just not doing anything. Christian Kirk is the guy there. Tennessee doesn't have a great passing defense, so I think ETN you can probably lock in for a tutty. I'd lock ETN in for a tutty pretty easy. Yeah, good trade. Yeah, that was a dynasty for Chase. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like I stole him. Like I don't feel like I paid as much as I should have. All right, Dak's been on fire lately. We're going against Carolina. Dak's been absolutely on fire. Fantasy points. I mean, I don't love any of these for Dak, but can we get a tutty for Pollard? Do you think that finally Pollard could get in the end zone again? Mhm. Do we think that maybe they'd realize they need to get Pollard going a little bit? CD, I mean, do we think he has over 87 receiving yards? The Pollard tutty is not ideal because he hasn't had a lot of those at all this season. So I can roll with the CD. I mean, the CD is not that bad. They've been a lot better just heavily passing the football. So seems like they've unlocked a little bit of something on that offense. Gave away Pittman and Greenlaw and 2 other players on the pick. I think you didn't give that much. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I got 2 24 firsts right now. I think there's currently, like, the 101 and the 102, so I should be able to like, it's not even like a rebuild, it's like a retool, I feel like, 'cause I traded down from Waddle to get Pittman in the first, like, I got did I have Hawkinson in that league? I don't know. Anyway, I had the 3 first, so I felt like that one, like, late first was expendable, keep my early first. Go for the ship in the 22, you need some more pieces. Well, what do you need? I mean, I got some pieces. If there's any win now pieces I have, I mean, let me know. I mean, defense, well, I kinda gave up my linebackers that, I think I gotta keep the rest of my linebackers I got, but you need DBs or D-line or Ferguson. I got Ferguson. I mean, I could use those points off of my team. Let me know, Song, what you want. Oh, don't get going. They need to try and unlock something else. Yeah, I mean, Pollard was a huge, huge topic during the offseason, right? It was one of the most discussed topics. It was one of the players that a lot of creators were in on. I mean, Tony Pollard, look how efficient he was last year. And I was like the one that was on the opposite side, especially if y'all that watch me. I just he never was a guy that got the workload, and you're not gonna be as efficient when now you're getting the full workload. Now you're taking on the toll on all the downs, right? You're taking on all of these big defensive linemen and linebackers because you're pass blocking. You're just on the field a lot more. It's not the same thing. Your body's not as fresh. So, Tony Pollard, whether it's that and the injury, just everything kinda combined, it's just not working for them right now. So they need to just keep passing the ball, keep throwing it to CD because that's what's working. And they've been lining up CD a little bit more, outside as well. So, they're just using him as like the pure X receiver, which has worked really good the past few games. So they need to continue to do that and just feed him. Henry, Brian Robinson, Singletary, pick two. I think we'll go Henry and B Rob. Yeah, where people had Pollard, I mean, people had him as a top 5 guy. I mean, people were taking him so early, and that's a huge miss as you're like, your late first, your second round pick. I mean, even third, it's just disappointing. Disappointing. You robbed that other guy, Steve. Oh, shit. Yeah, you send out trades and you feel what people are at, and he actually sent me that trade. But instead of, Greenlaw, it was Jordan Brooks, and I didn't wanna give up Brooks, so I tried to give up, like, some other pieces, and then he wasn't having that, and he said he wanted, like, a guy that he can just plug and play at the linebacker position, so I was like, "Alright, perfect." I just threw in Greenlaw, and he wound up accepting it, so, it was something I originally had sent over, he countered, and then I just countered back, and that was pretty much that. I mean, we had a brief conversation, and I knew that we were close. Once I knew we were close, like when he sent the one with Jordan Brooks, I was like, "Oh, it's a wrap. I'm getting them. I'm gonna wind up getting them now because I just got to give something like equivalent to that in the ballpark, and he'd go for it." So yeah, he wound up going for it. But that's one of those like, and we're gonna talk more about this on Tuesday on the Dynasty show, where we're gonna talk a little bit more, strategy wise and trying to attack some of these teams that are just in the middle of the pack that like can't necessarily pick a direction, that do want to win because everybody wants to win, right? So you can just take advantage of sometimes those situations where obviously a huge hit to chase. This guy's trying to win, so he wants some points right now. I'm giving him some right now points, and he winds up making the trade that in the long run he's going to regret, but for right now it might work out for him. But people are sometimes short-sighted on it, especially in Dynasty. It's just a week to week kind of game now where a lot of people are very more like redrafting now. You want to win so bad, and sometimes you make some trades that you just regret in the long run, especially on some of these like Justin Jeffersons, Jamar Chases, right? Joe Burrows, because Joe Burrows I know has been traded a lot, and especially now that he just got injured. So Steve, I think her door is saying swipe or no swipe. Mm. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. So I was excited about that. And on that team, I have CD Lamb as well. So now I got CD and Jamar Chase, and I got the 101 and the 102. So I feel like I'll be, competing next season. And I have a pretty good linebacker core because it's IDP in that league. So I think I'll be in the run for competing next year. Hopefully. Anyway, we'll see what happens with the off season and into the regular season next year. But we don't stop, right? All off season now, I'm gonna be trying to make upgrades. I think I've got a ton of picks, whether I use those for players or make those picks. I mean, that'll be determined, but that's just just getting picks, whether it's second round picks, third round picks. They might not like overall mean much. You're not gonna hit on all of those picks, right? The percentage is very low that you hit on, second round picks, third round picks. Like Puka is an outlier, right? That doesn't happen every single year. So, you're not going to be making all those picks, but that's leverage because people love those rookies, right? People will move up in the draft. People will trade away older players, especially in the offseason, right? Nobody wants older players in the offseason. That's where like the rookies and all the young guys, their values up, and all the older guys, their values down. So, like, Mike Evans is the perfect example of how cheap you could have got him in the offseason because nobody wanted him. And now look at what he's doing now. See, I'm looking to compete next year in that league song. I need to get some QBs though, because all I got is Deshaun Watson, and but I do have those two early picks, so I'm thinking I draft, Caleb or May, whatever, depending where those picks finally land, and then I try and get Marvin Harrison as well, and then I'll probably just fill in like I'll probably maybe try and buy like a cheap quarterback, just like for my third quarterback, roll with Watson and whatever rookie I have, and I should be because I got JSN as well. I'm just trying to build up that core guys here. But yeah, if you want Ferguson song, let me know. Maybe we could work something out for Ferguson because he's been good. We ain't touching we ain't touching anything Bryce here or Miles Sanders. I mean, it's even tough. I mean, Thielen 55 receiving yards. Somebody's got to catch the ball, right? Somebody's got to catch the ball. Mingo hasn't been great. I do like him as a little buy lowish in Dynasty because I think that even when you listen to Matt Harmon, he even says that they Mingo is basically the guy they want to put in the Thielen role, but Thielen's still there right now. So Mingo is just in a different role right now. That's not kind of the role that he should be playing. So I do like Mingo for the future, but Tommy Tremble, I don't think we're taking any of those. All right, let's check out what Justin Fields has got going on here. Rushing TD, 8.5 rushing attempts. I mean, 17, 18 fantasy points. I might be able to bank on that. I don't know what's gonna happen in the receiving game in the, running backfield for the Bears. I'm not opposed to this 8.5 receiving yards, though, for Roschon Johnson. I'm not opposed to that because I think he should have almost solidified himself as, like, that 3rd down, that pass catching guy for them. Evan said, "Do you think Bryce is a buy low? I would think they work on weapons in the upcoming years." I do like Bryce as a buy low because I don't think he's been a horrible quarterback. Like if it's just the situation is just really bad. I mean, the offense just in general is bad. Like the scheme is bad. It's not nothing is right. over there, and then they've got, like, nobody really to help him out over there, so I do like Bryce as a buy low. I think you can buy him low right now in Dynasty especially, so give me a little bit of Bryce, especially now that his price has kinda really dropped. Stroud is doing his thing, so a lot of people are off Bryce, so you can kinda sneakily buy Bryce for a good price. So I think in the long run, like, he'll be okay. Does he have the high upside like CJ Stroud does? I mean, probably not at this point, but he can still be, a top 12-ish guy, so in the long run. So we'll see what happens, but definitely need some weapons. They have no running game. They've got just nothing going right for them over there. And we talk about it all the time how it was the opposite of what we thought, right? I mean, we all liked both of these guys. We thought Bryce was stepping into the better situation, but he wasn't. We were just wrong about the situation. And CJ Stroud just stepped into the better situation. I mean, that team kind of turned itself around. They got some wide receivers, they got playmakers. Because if you switch them, like I think Bryce would be a little bit better than what he's showing right now. I don't know if he'll be doing what CJ Stroud is doing, but I do think Bryce is a good buy low if you need a QB. Or if you're rebuilding, I'm gonna get a cheap QB. So, yeah, I do think I like the Roshan there. DJ Moore back with Fields, 60 receiving yards, 11.5 fantasy points. Might be able to bank on one of those. Jared Goff. Here's Gibbs, 42.5 rushing yards. Oh, shit. It's bugging. Really? All right, 42.5 rushing yards, 10 rushing attempts. 10 rushing attempts, 3.5 receptions. I mean, I kinda like all I think you could just go with the fantasy points and probably feel safe. 11.5 basically. Monty, they don't have of course, they don't have just, like, the rushing touchdown up there. Rushing yards, rushing attempts, receiving yards. They've got fantasy points. Amon-Ra has had a bunch of actually, I think, 100-yard games now in a row. 1, 2, 3, 4 in a row, 100-yard games. He's only had 2 games where he had under 100 yards. So, I'm pretty confident in the yardage for St. Brown, it feels like. It feels like they've unlocked something. Hopefully, he can grab a tutty. But I feel pretty good with St. Brown's. I think I'd just go with the fantasy points. Jamo still can't be trusted. Laporta, 8 fantasy point. Well, he'd need 8.5 at least, basically. I'm okay with that. Tommy DeVito, man. Saquon, possibly the fantasy points on pure volume itself. I mean, even the receiving yards is not that bad, 17.5. What'd Saquon have last week? -5, jeez. Alright, so we're not going with their receiving yards, but maybe the fantasy points, I guess. I mean, it's so hard. That offense is so bad. You can't trust anything on the Giants right now, so not touching the Giants at all. Here's Howell. I mean, he's been on fire. Passing yards, touchdowns. I mean, alright, here's Brian Robinson. We liked what Brian Robinson 11 fantasy points. I think I like the fantasy points on this one. Yeah, I'd go with the fantasy points on Robinson. Terry Dotson. I mean, I don't love these. Tampa against San Fran. Richard White. Mike Evans. Can we go with the fantasy points on Evans? Maybe the yardage. I mean, the tutty. I mean, Hammer said the other day he's what, 66% of his games a tutty. I mean, I don't love him, but DMC rushing tutty. I love how they took away like the rushing or receiving tutty. Now it's just rushing tutty. Probably bank on that. I'd take the tutty. Not touching Debo or Ayuk or Kittle. Who's been horrible pretty much this season. Does Kenneth Walker get back on track, or does Charbonnet start really eating in a little bit more? 25.5 rushing yards for Charbonnet. What's he been having? 44, 53. I mean, you might be able to bank on the rushing yards there for Charbonnet. I don't think I'd be opposed to that. Lockett a little bit banged up. DK, JSN. JSN's been pretty good lately. What's his yardage? His yardage has been like 63, 53, 36, 63, 48. You can probably feel comfortable with the yardage here. I mean, he's been over this. He's only been under that once in the last 5 games, and that one game he was under was against Cleveland. He had 36. I think I like that one too. So we've got Roshan 8.5, Brian Robinson 11 fantasy points, CMC a rushing tutty, Charbonnet 25.5 rushing yards, JSN 38.5 for receiving yards. I think these are kind of my favorite ones here. You guys let me know. What do you think about some of those? Do you agree with any of those? Or you got any other ones that you are looking at that maybe I missed? Full PPR start to Ridley, Singletary, Deontay, JSN. Oh man. It might be Singletary. JSN is very interesting with the Lockett injury, even though he's going to be playing. Ridley just, I mean, we can't get on track with Ridley, but it's hard to not play him for the simple upside that he has. Like, Deontay, obviously not good last game, bad matchup this game. Give me Ridley and Singletary, I think. That's a tough one. Shit. Or do we still go with Deontay even though they're going against Cleveland? Like, he's gonna give you probably a safe floor. Obviously, that didn't happen last game, but let me go Ridley and Singletary here. JSN, it's tough when both of those guys are playing to really count on him. JC, what's up, JC? Appreciate you, bro. Andrew in the building. What's up? I know, man. It's so fucked. Jamar Stack Burrow. Yeah, man. It's rough, bro. It's rough. Burrow and Jamar Stack fucked. It's gonna be tough to overcome that because that's it's more than one hit. You traded Lamar for Burrow. Oh man. And now I'm guessing you got no backup QB. I know what happened to me in the dynasty. I had Higgins though instead of Chase. So that was bad. That hurt. No, I think he's still startable, Andrew. I don't think it's that extreme. Like we see great wide receivers are still going to produce, right? We've seen Devontae do it. Obviously, the situation is not ideal, so it's not going to be as consistent. They're not going to have as high of an upside, but he's absolutely still startable. Oh, you got Dobbs on waivers. I mean, bro, you're good. Don't even worry about it. You lose a little bit, but not that much. You'll be fine. You'll be fine with that. Packers. Stafford back. Stafford back, so we can get a little more excited now about Puka, about Cup. Aaron probably back next week, so kind of the last week that Henderson's going to be kind of valuable, but I don't really love any of his. I'm not really rolling with any of that. Cup, 81.5 receiving yards. Puka, 70. 12 fantasy points basically. Puka's going to need 11.5. Or do we go with the 15 plus for Cooper Cup? Tutty for Puka. I think the first downs is kind of a interesting one that they put in here. Don't really love anything else here. Definitely not rolling with Zach Wilson. All right, Brees Hall, 55.5 rushing. Garrett Wilson a little bit banged up. Can we still trust him? I don't love any of it. I'd probably just stay away. Josh Allen. Mm-mm. James Cook. I mean, Jets defense is pretty good, so I'll probably stay away. I mean, even Diggs, like it's hard to 75.5 receiving, 14 fantasy points. I mean, I don't really love any of these. I'll probably just stay away this week against the Jets. Here we go to Dobbs, a rushing TD, or 1.5 passing tutties. What can we bank on there? 216 passing yards. I mean, that might not be bad. What do you I mean, I know Denver's been really good lately. He had 268 last week against New Orleans. Fantasy points is probably the safest there. We'll stay away from the running game. I mean, it's actually 36.5 rushing yards for Madison is actually not bad. I think actually I like it. Madison 46.5 receiving yards, 8 fantasy points. What do we got for Hawkinson? 56.5, 9.55 fantasy points. I think you can probably take any of these for Hawkinson. I'll probably take the fantasy points, and I think you'll be good. We'll roll with Hawkinson on that one. So Russell Wilson, who has been a lot better. Javante been getting some work. I mean, 16.5 rushing attempts. Check out what he's gone lately. I mean, yeah, last 2 games, 27 and 21. If they can keep it relatively close enough, I think you can hit that. Probably wouldn't bet on it though, but Judy, I mean, these guys can't be trusted. Sutton maybe a tutty. Go with the tutty or the fantasy points for maybe the receiving yards. I'd probably stay away from it, but if I had to bank on one, it's probably a tutty. I mean, who else is going to score for them? Jalen Hurts against KC. I mean, KC's defense has been pretty good. Dylan, what's up, Dylan? Oh, my bad, Andrew. I missed this one. Kincaid or McBride, rest of season. Oh, I'll probably go with Kincaid just because it's a better offense, more opportunities for tutties. McBride has been really good, but I'm probably gonna roll with Kincaid on that. If you start sit full PPR, no problem, Dylan. Let's see what you got here. Start one flex, Hollywood or McBride. Ooh, wow. That's a tough one. Michael Wilson is out. I know Hollywood wasn't really that involved last week. I mean, 9 targets, 8 catches for McBride. Better matchup this week against Houston. Mm, I'll probably still roll with Hollywood. That's close though, Dylan. Let's see what else we got. Start one running back and one flex out of Connor, Achane, and Waddle. I'll go with Achane and Waddle on that one. I do like Connor, but Achane just has that crazy upside, and I want to start Waddle over Connor. And then number 3, start one QB, one running back, and one flex. So Stroud or Fields. Wow. Okay. Connor, Ford, Singletary, Waddle. So on that one, I'll probably go flex. I'll play Waddle. Running back, I'll play running back. I might play um, O'Connor there. I mean, Ford against Pittsburgh. Give me, give me Connor and Waddle. You can make the case for Singletary too. I mean, I know he was awesome, but he hasn't been good consistently. He's not that. And is he gonna get 30 carries again? I mean, maybe it is Singletary against Arizona. No, give me Connor. All right, give me Connor and Waddle for that, and then at QB we'll go with. I mean, Stroud's been pretty damn good. Now going against Arizona, I think I'll probably roll with Stroud. I mean, Fields has some good, obviously good upside. He has that rushing ability, and he's pretty much a top guy. I mean, when he plays, they are going to get up against Detroit. Give me Stroud and Fields' first game back, but I wouldn't be surprised if Fields has like a huge game. But you should feel at least pretty comfortable with Stroud. I mean, he's been solid all season. I mean, what QB9? If you want the upside, then go with Fields. Upside Fields. I've got to start setting my lineups. We've got about 30 minutes left here. Gonna make sure everything is in place. Yeah. That league is good. So Pollard one last go around, whether I was Swift against the Chiefs. Hmm. That's actually a really good question. Swift has obviously slowed down. Chiefs are a pretty good defense. They've been playing pretty good defense, so I'll probably roll with Pollard one last time. See what happens from there. Just kind of based on the matchup. All right. Let's see what else we got here. I think I'm all set here. Simp, what's up, Simp? Appreciate you, man. Was Zay now playing Connor Ridley or Kincaid flex full PPR? I mean, you probably got to roll with Kincaid, basic almost at this point. I mean, Connor's interesting. But Kincaid's just been getting a good amount of work. Ridley has just not been it. I mean, the Bills are going against the Jets, so that's the one tough part about it. But I'm probably still gonna roll with him. I mean, Calvin has just been so disappointing, and he's got like a pretty decent amount of targets. Like, I mean, last game obviously not much, but against Tennessee, like it is a good matchup. Like, you would think that this should be a game that Calvin Ridley can play really well. So it's either Ridley or Kincaid, I think, for me. It's got to be Ridley based on matchup, but it's hard to trust Ridley, so I'd go Kincaid otherwise. What's up, Jonathan? Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you coming through, brother. Simp said Laporta my tight end. Yeah, so maybe you play both of those guys. You know, maybe you play both of those guys. Daniel, what's up, Daniel? Damn cap locks. Cap lock. Did I miss a question from you, Daniel? My bad if I did. I don't see any question up here, but type it in again. Whatever your question is, brother. Declined the Gibbs trade from last night. He came back with 224 firsts, a second, Devonta Smith, and Jordan Addison. And this is that start 8, right? You said those firsts are mid? Mm. I mean, in the start 8, like Jordan Addison, I mean, how do people view those players? Like, I think this is really what it's gonna come down to is, like, what does your league prefer? Like, what can you do with these if you trade Gibbs away, you're getting all these assets here. Now, what can you do with these assets? Can you turn these assets into better players? Can you go Devonta Smith in one of those first and tier up? Can you go Jordan Addison in one of those first and tier up? Like that's what I would be kind of looking to do here. So I think I do kind of like it in this instance where you're getting Devonta Smith and Jordan Addison with the two kind of midish first that you said. You're getting 2 seconds on top. So, the big question is really what can you do with this package if you receive it? Because we're not just going to keep it and just I think we need to try and tier up, and we don't have to do that right away, right now. You can hold on to it. Obviously, these picks are going to gain value as the season goes on. So, maybe you hold on to them for now, but what would be your plan if you accept this trade and can you move these picks? So that's I think the biggest question here, Jonathan. Because if you can't move these picks, then I don't want this deal. Right? But I need to be able to move these picks. Like I want to move these picks. So, can I combine these picks with these players and tier up somehow? Let me know if that's a possibility. Because if that's the case, then take the deal and then you start shopping. Devonta in the first, Jordan Addison in the first. You can add a second on top of that. So you'll have some assets. So spoke to another guy in the league about Addison, one of the first, and Downs for Garrett Wilson. Okay, that's a good one. I like that. I like that. I mean, I do like Downs as well, but in this start 8, like we've got to pay up a little bit more to get some of these elite players. So yeah, as long as you understand that Garrett Wilson, like quarterback situation, is not figured out right now. Hopefully Aaron Rodgers comes back, but he's not going to be there forever. So, but yeah, I'm okay with doing that. I mean, that's fine. So yeah, I mean, if you're going to be able to move those first, then I'm perfectly fine with making this trade and then trying to tier up at wide receiver. Can you go get Jamar Chase right now? He's hurt. Can you give up some of those firsts and some of those pieces that you have to go tier up to Jamar Chase as well? Like, so then you got Jamar Chase and you've got Garrett Wilson. So that's what I'd take the trade then and start making moves. If you're going to be able to move those first with those players, then that's probably what I'd like to do. Because Michael Wilson is out, Rondell Moore a better play than Lockett and Addison? No, I don't think he's a better play. He's not a better play, but he's a decent like flex guy if you're stuck and you need to play somebody. I mean, I don't know what it's gonna look like, so, give me Lockett or Addison over Moore. Boyd did great against Houston out of the slot last week. I'm with you there, and he very well could do good out of the slot, but I don't think it's something that I wanna bank on over Lockett and Addison right now, you know? I know Lockett's a little bit banged up. I'm definitely not playing him over Addison for sure. And I can't fathom to play him over Lockett either. The only reason why I think you can probably make it a conversation is because Lockett's a little bit banged up, but I I'm not doing it. And I feel you, and you could be 100% right there, but I'm not willing to make that bet over a guy like Lockett or Addison. So I think that's kind of what it comes down to for me, Daniel. Yeah, I like Addison. I mean, listen, it's a good. They're going against what has on the season been a bad defense, but they've been really good lately. So yeah, I'd still be playing Addison. Worried about Deontay Johnson? Not necessarily, but for this week, yes. For this week, yes. They're playing, a really good defense. Kenny Pickett hasn't been that good, but Deontay Johnson is a really good route runner. So I think there's a possibility he can still at least give you solid fantasy production, but the upside probably is capped. And last game wasn't pretty, so but they didn't throw the ball a lot last game, so I don't know how they're gonna what they're gonna do this game. We'll have to see. No problem. Appreciate you, Daniel. Appreciate you. But yeah, throw any questions y'all got in the chat. We've got about 20 minutes left. We got about 20 minutes left. I'm gonna have to scroll through the rest of my teams quick also. Make sure that I've got all my lineups set properly. Especially when you're playing a lot of leagues, guys. Just make sure, double check. Make sure you got all your lineups set. All right. Well, that rolled basically all through underdog. We kind of went over a lot of the ones that I liked, and I've got some highlighted up here. JSN, the Charbonnet, the CMC, the Brian Robinson, the Roshan. Yeah. Now, back to my squads. Let's make sure we've got everything set, and any last minute changes that we need to make, we make. It's the one hard part about being in too many leagues is you kind of got to go through everything, and that takes time. So, all right, good there. But yeah, we're hanging out for the last 20 minutes or so. I am going to go through my lineups here. We'll roll up one more time for the wake and bake pre-game sesh, and then we'll get up out of here. But yeah, what games are you guys looking forward to this week, or what's your fantasy predicaments? I mean, what's your situations as far as the standings? Like, do you need to win? Do you need to win out to get in? Are you mathematically still in? Like, you have some tough situations that you're dealing with? I have a couple leagues where I am like in 8th or ninth place, but it's really like tied for, 5th, 6th, but everybody's got like the same record. So a few were like really tight, where others I'm just at the top. I don't have any horrible teams this year, except for my 1-2 QB league team. I mean, I think I'm 5-5 in there, but now I lost Burrow, and it's a 2 QB league, so it might be over for me. Might be over. Johnson said this is new. There's a guy in my league that would take Smith, Jaden Reed, and one of the first, my 25 first, and Chase Brown for Justin Jefferson. I take both trades over. But yes, yes, yes. This is what we're doing. This is what we want to try and do is we want to try and get the absolute fucking hammers. We want to get the absolute hammers. So if you can grab JJ, you'd have JJ, you'd have Wilson. I'm not sure. I don't remember exactly what the rest of your team looked like. I don't remember if you told me what the rest of your team looked like. Um, But yeah, because now, like, you're turning all of that you're turning Gibbs into Justin Jefferson and Garrett Wilson, like, that's what you wanna do, like so, yes, I mean, if you're already having these conversations, then, like, you need to act on this, like, immediately before people can change their mind, because the game starts soon, and all it takes is something to happen in one of these games for this trade to not go down. So, if I were you, I'd be getting on it right now. I'd smash accept on the trade. Hopefully your trade goes straight through. You don't have to wait for, the commissioner to push it through. And that's what I would be doing right now. Well, actually, you might have to wait now because it's about to be 1 o'clock. So, but if you can get the trade at least done, I would be doing that. Because that would be awesome. Now you'd have Jefferson and you have Wilson. And start 8, you want as many hammers that you can get, and it doesn't seem like you're spending much. Like I think you'll still have an extra. You'll still have a first round pick in 2024, right? Because you only talked about trading one of those picks, and now another one. So you should still have one more 24 first, if I'm not mistaken. Let me know if I'm mistaken there, because now you can play with that other first and somebody else on your team and tear up from that. Like, so now you turn Gibbs into Jefferson, Wilson, and then another top guy. So Kevin said, "Time to remind everyone to be honest with those dynasty teams." Yeah, we're gonna go over this on Tuesday. We're gonna talk, on our dynasty show. We'll talk more dynasty, because like, yeah, I just stole Jamar Chase in a league because the guy was just trying to win now, and I was able to just take advantage of a team that was kind of in the middle. 7 dynasty leagues. Out of those, 3 are contenders, 1 a meh. Yeah, I feel you. I think I'm in exactly 7 as well. And I have, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I've got 7 as well, and I'm contending in 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm contending in 4. I'm not contending in 3, but I knew going into the season I wasn't going to be contending with those teams. So everything is going according to plan so far, and I made the necessary moves early on because I knew I wasn't competing, so I tried to take advantage early. I would have mine, which would be around 8 to 10. Okay. Okay, so you would still have, yeah, so you would still have your first round pick. And then can you use that and maybe one of the seconds or 2 of the seconds, and then one of those other wide receivers that you had, maybe one of those other wide receivers or something that you've got on the bench to try and tier up there as again as well. So now you're gonna, you basically are trying to get 3 really top wide receivers because those are they're gonna carry you in those more shallower leagues where it's, start 8. Like, so those guys are really gonna carry you. Can you go get Jamar Chase now too? Like, I would throw everything at it. So if you can get Chase, Jefferson, and Garrett Wilson, I mean, that'd be pretty wild. You can make trades and they'll go through even if they played their game. Yeah, just won't. Okay, okay, yeah, I figured that. Okay, just accepted the Gibbs trade and just finished the Wilson trade. That's what I'm talking about, Jonathan. This is what we do, brother. This is what we do. And that's why I kind of love the live aspect of it. Like, I try and do videos sometimes as well, but I don't have the time to edit them and post and do all that. So I like a lot more of the live content. So when we're live, we're able to talk right off the bat and we're making trades and we're trying to get shit done. So that's awesome, man. That's awesome. It's awesome. 'Cause that's not like even a rebuild. It's a nice little like retool. You got a ton of assets, and now you're gonna take advantage and use those assets. So people like picks. Like, and all of my dynasty leagues and all of your dynasty leagues, y'all should be Whether you're contending or not, trying to buy Jamar Chase, trying to buy Joe Burrow in those super flex leagues, like, you should be trying to buy these guys, Justin Jefferson, like, because this is the one time that they're actually available because of injury and situation that's going on. I'm not gonna say that the price is gonna be cheaper because it's still gonna be a hefty price, but you actually have a chance to get those guys where typically there's no shot at getting those guys. Most cases, the Chase owner is a contender, give him something, he will fold. Yes, exactly. That's which is exactly what I did in one of my leagues where I was able to get Chase. The guy is kinda middle of the pack thinks he's contending, and, he wound up folding, for some right now points, like, and that's the power of, having some points on your team and trying to take advantage of people that wanna win right now because people will give up those key, those key pieces, those key core pieces to try to win for right now. Another good game for Addison, so the value goes up. I can get a true one like Garrett Wilson or something like AJ. Yeah, I feel you. I mean, for me in one of my dynasties in one of my 1 QB 14 team, I think it's start 8 or start 9, I gave up, a first round pick, which is gonna be late. It's gonna be like a 12 to 14 most likely, and I gave up Addison, and I got Jalen Waddle. So, tried to take advantage a little bit if I could. So, really, it's almost like a second round pick, and it's 1 QB, so it doesn't make it as valuable. So, when you really think about it, it's like almost a mid-second round pick. Hmm. So, yeah, these are the opportunities, these are the pockets that we look for when people have good games to try and tear up. And the perfect example I gave the other day was all off season. I was telling people about trying to tear up from George Pickens and Christian Watson. Even if I was wrong about them as players and they were producing, like there was a chance that you can tear up from those guys because there's always gonna be a chance that they don't play well and their value goes down. And that was a chance that I was betting on. But even if I was wrong and they were playing well right now, you still had the opportunity to tear up at that point when their value was kind of really peaked at that time, during that off season. All right, let me fix the rest of my teams real quick as we've got about 10 minutes left to go. Almost got everything in order. I've got a few more. I don't even really have any like lineup questions this week. Like with all injuries and in bye weeks, like everything just kind of slides in. Yeah, man, lineup is just bad in some leagues. Definitely currency. That's what I've learned from you, big dog. That's what I learned from you, big dog. Appreciate you, Kev. Yeah, it is currency. The values just go up and down every week during the off season. I mean, buy some veterans in the off season. They're a lot cheaper. Mike Evans cost you basically nothing in the off season. Like we didn't even know who Tampa's QB was going to be. Nobody believed in Baker Mayfield. Like he was so cheap at that point. Just, understanding when the right times are to do certain things. Just be patient, right? There's right times to sell players, there's right times to buy players. So take advantage of that, right? Kyler Murray was so cheap this offseason, so cheap. And now that he's playing again, now everybody wants him. Everybody's back on him. Oh, trade for Kyler Murray now. No, it's too late to trade for Kyler Murray now. Kyler Murray should have been traded for in the offseason, like I was telling everybody to trade for. Also told everybody to trade for Deshaun Watson. And I'm sorry for those that traded for Deshaun Watson because obviously it hasn't worked out this season. He's been fucking injured the whole season. Fantasy points haven't been horrible for him, but just he's been injured. So, you know, sucks for Deshaun Watson, but Tua was another one. By Tua, this was the chance. This was there's times to do things, and it's too late now. It just cost you way too much. You want to buy something when it's cheaper, and then you want to sell it when it's at its highest. So just understanding the different pockets, the different times, having patience, knowing when to do things, knowing when to go after certain players or attack certain GMs, right? It's important to know the GMs in your league too. I mean, you know, I made this chase for Jamar Chase in this league, and I feel like I kind of really won it by a lot. So now I know like that if there's a player I want from this guy's team, I might be able to get him at a pretty reasonable price. So the next time I'm looking, he's a guy that I can try and go to. Actually, let me take a look at his who else does he even have? Yeah, he's got, like, no core wide receivers right now. Like, he's got Marquise Brown after I took away Chase. He's got some running backs. He's got some QBs. He's got Stroud. Josh Downs. Yeah, he'll regret that trade. But alright, let me finish my bad. Let me finish setting my lineups here. Got a few more to go through, and then I'll be set. We've got about 5, 6 minutes left. In those leagues, some of those leagues that you're playing where it's just not that active, like, people aren't really actively trading like that, and it sucks, like, you can't find people to trade. Like, there's this one league, and this guy is, like, 1 and 9 right now, and he's got, like, Alvin Kamara, Saquon Barkley, and he refuses to trade any of these guys. He refuses to trade Kamara. Yeah, I wish I bought Stroud earlier too. I mean, but you know what? QBs are the hardest. QBs are the absolute hardest guys to evaluate. Even the NFL gets it wrong a ton of the time. So, it's really hard to gauge quarterbacks coming out, you know? Really, really hard to gauge that. So, can't be mad at it. It is what it is. I think that Bryce is going to be good. I just think it's going to take him a little bit more time and than it is Stroud. So, I got 3 more squads to fix here. Right. You're not gonna be able to buy everybody earlier before they break out. You're never gonna hit on all these guys, early, and you can't have all these guys, obviously. I mean, there's a lot of teams, there's a lot of GMs, so you hit the next one. I was very big on CD Lamb, before going into last year. Not everybody was, and, everybody wants to see it first. I gotta see it first, I gotta see it first, and you can't play Dynasty that way. You can't wait to see it first because at that point, then it's too late, depending on price, of course, but right, I think I'm all set here. This is my last one. Right. I think we're good. We're all set. We are 3 minutes. We are 3 minutes until game time. Appreciate everybody for coming to hang out this morning. We'll see y'all on Tuesday night. We've got the Dynasty show Tuesday night, 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific, right here on our channel and also on the 420 Fantasy Hustler Network. So make sure you guys go and check that out on Tuesday. Come through, hang out, talk some Dynasty with us. But good luck to everybody this week. May the fantasy gods be with you, like they hopefully are for me this week. Got some big games that I got to win. So good luck to everybody. Appreciate you. Frank in the building last minute. What up, Frank? Yeah, let's go get him, baby. Let's go get him, man. Let's go get him. So good luck to everybody. Hopefully, y'all win your weeks. And hopefully, we are, in it for this playoff push down the stretch here these last few weeks. Make that final push. Make some trades if you need to. But let's get it. But all right. Good luck, y'all. Appreciate y'all. We out.